Will Chris Eubank Jr. listen to his trainer during the fight with James DeGale on Saturday? There is a big super middleweight showdown between James DeGale and Chris Eubank Jr., but the big question is, will Chris Eubank Jr. listen to his trainer, Nate Vasquez, during and in between rounds? Well, that is the main question, and yes, I think he may do for the first couple of rounds, as there will be a game plan put into place, which I think he will follow, but once the game plan does not work, what does he do then? Because a game plan is 12 rounds long, it is not 4 rounds long. If it gets to the 4th round and the game plan isn't working, but the game plan will only come into effect in the 5th round, but Junior notices the game plan isn't working, so resorts back to his usual self of following the fighter around the ring and trying to take them out, then we have a problem, because then he is not going to listen to his trainer and he will be a sitting duck for James DeGale to pick off. I think for the first 4 rounds he will get his boxing going, try and find his jab and his range, and try and stop James DeGale from picking him off. But I don't know whether that will work going into the later rounds when he struggles keeping to his game plan and listening to his trainer, because that is the main question. As I said, a game plan is 12 rounds long, but it's whether Chris Eubank Jr. has the discipline, the mental discipline, to listen for that long. Obviously he has discipline in his training and during the fight to stay focused, but will he be focused on the game plan or what happened in the George Groves fight where he was just following him around the ring and trying to land one big shot and take him out because he wanted to knock George Groves out and have an emphatic victory and win the WBA world title in style, but it didn't go to plan because he didn't follow his game plan, because I don't think he really had one. It was just go in there and try and take George Groves out. He didn't try and use his feet, he didn't find a jab, and he didn't find his range, and he didn't have any remedy for what George Groves was doing, which was a handy jab and grabbing hold and being stronger than him, because George Groves weighed in at around 13.5 stone I think on fight night, whereas Chris Eubank Jr. was still about 12 stone or just over that during fight night. So obviously George Groves was a lot stronger, a lot heavier, and he could just bully Chris Eubank Jr. when they got into the clinch, and that is ultimately Chris Eubank Jr.'s downfall, because we thought that George Groves was going to be the one that got tired, but it wasn't. It was Chris Eubank that got tired because George Groves was manhandling him when he got in close and tried to trade with him. During that fight with George Groves, he couldn't find his range. He couldn't find that mid-range that he needed to find. He was out of range too much, which meant that George Groves could just pick him off with a jab, and when he got in too close, as I said, George Groves just held and pulled him around and turned him, which tired Chris Eubank Jr. So during this contest with James DeGale, it is last chance saloon. He has to win this and he has to put in a good performance. So if he gets outboxed again, then where does Chris Eubank Jr. go? So he has no choice but to listen to his trainer. But the only problem is, if Chris Eubank Sr. goes in the corner also, and you have Ronnie Davis there, you have a conflict of interest and different opinions on the fight. So there just needs to be one voice in his ear, and he needs proper instructions, and he needs to listen to that person. Because if he is trying to listen to all 3 of them at the same time, then he will not know what to do and he will just resort to sort and just try and throw and take James DeGale out, which won't work because James DeGale is a handy boxer and he will keep him at range. This is the last chance for James DeGale too, so he has to win this, so he will be in the best shape that he can possibly be in. I think James DeGale, 70% of his former self in his prime, I think that beats Chris Eubank Jr. It just depends how much James DeGale has got left. Guys, what are your thoughts? Will Chris Eubank Jr. listen to his trainer? Who will he listen to? Chris Eubank Sr., Ronnie Davis, or Nate Vasquez? Or will he listen to one voice, or will he resort to sort? Please drop your thoughts in the comments below. Please like the video and subscribe for more content. Thank you guys.